fair point. He got a real fair point. I don't agree with ISIS at all. I honestly believe that they shouldn't even be on these streets doing what they're doing. I honestly don't. What can we do, right? When you got people with that type of mindset that make America great again, which it was never great from the way that it started, from the way that it's going to end. But he got a really good point though. Like when the people gonna wake up? It's really really sad. And yeah, making a really good point. I mean, with the ISIS, we don't know what's going on. Men are getting raped, women are getting raped. Some people are getting sent out the country that wasn't even supposed to be out the country. It's a lot going on. And with the lady, I see another. What up, Randy B? 2K. Peace and blessings. Thanks for tuning in. With the lady, I sent another visual, another angle of her. She was gonna run over dude, but that's just my opinion. I still don't believe that she should have even been there. But that's my opinion. But rest in peace to the family and to her. Right. Mm-hmm. 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 They will. No, it's because that's one video, right? On the left side of that vehicle. Her wheels were turned to the right, and it was a guy right there. But what you could not see from that same, there's another officer right directly in front on the curb. And when she turned the wheels, she was headed towards him until he got the shooting. And she, I would put that clip out there if I could. Yeah, what up? What up? What up? Waylon Wolf, peace and blessings. Thanks for tuning in. Avelli, peace and blessings. Much love. I'm just seeing y'all comments, but yeah, I want to show y'all some love and gratitude. Appreciate y'all for tuning in. Yeah, man, they don't make no sense. That's what I was saying too. Correct. Yeah. That needs to be handled. Being and Randy B2K. Peace and blessings. And that's true. No video can heal wounds of a soul gone. And crazy is that, it's so easy for people to take a life. All of these demonic video games, all these demonic TV shows and movies where crime and death is just so normalized. People lose compassion. People lose empathy. We forget how to be real human beings and have love for one another. And that's really what this is all about, being accountable for how you engage and interact with the world outside of yourself. What I really dislike about this whole situation is that everybody was in place ready for something to happen, but nobody's showing took what transpired this situation. Like I need to know what was going on a few minutes before that actually happened. And the way that everything was set up is a stage. It looked like this was another sacrifice, and it's just for entertainment purposes as well. Um, Allegedly, right? January 8th. I'm not sure if this day have any significance as far as numerology. I didn't really look into anything like that, but it's so convenient for three different people to be right there filming on their phone. I know this is the age of technology where social media is widely available across the world, where our handsets is basically a computer. We walk around with our phones all day, every day. We even had the meta glasses. I don't know too much about it, but I've heard they can record. Not nothing that I'm into, but anyway, it's like, was this something to wake us up to get our attention? Was this another fear tactic? Or I don't know. It's a lot of questions to be asked. The right questions is, um, what are we going to do next, right? And that's a really serious question. Let's not let this be another George Floyd or whatever the lady name was, and I apologize and no disrespect. Let's not let this list add up like they were just saying, like another number to another list of individuals who's here and who was not here anymore because of actions that the government took upon these people. We're just showing a video of Dr. Sabi's son, and he was detained by ISIS as well for like a month, and he was talking about his experience in there. He's from Honduras. He walked from Honduras to America, and it took him like what on his way. It took him a whole month because he got what they say kidnapped by the cartel or abducted. I don't know what word we can use, whatever, but yeah, that happened for a week while he was traveling from Honduras to America. He went through Mexico and came up. And what he said was, I don't want to disrespect them or put them on blast. You know how the cartel get down. If they get a hold of you, you're not going anywhere until you cough up that money. That's basically what he was saying. Like that's the only way that he got free. Because this was back in 2017. They needed 10,000 then for everybody that they had. And I'm not sure how much they charge nowadays. I don't know. I'm not trying to really get into that information, but I do pray for people who are simply going on vacation, simply traveling, and never make it back to their homes, to their families, to their kids, their loved ones, their parents, their occupations. Some people are really important for the things they do, like certain neurosurgeons, certain lawyers, certain doctors, right? Certain inventors. These people are important to the elevation of the humankind. And I just pray that everybody that goes out make it back in one piece, make it back safe. This lady went out for whatever reason she was out and she never made it back home. She decided whatever played on her mind in those moments of what got her to do what she did. So I'm always on here advocating for mental health awareness to let you guys know that you no longer have to suffer in silence, nor do you have to be afraid to be alone. You don't want to be accessible to everybody in the world. That's how you protect your peace. That's how you protect your energy. And also, that's how you just have discernment with different spirits that you need to be engaging with. It says not to be not unequally yoked with people, right? Have you ever seen a show called Killer Kids? It's basically like this: being unequally yoked by people, your friends, your peers, and they influence you to go do something unrighteous, right? Whether you go to steal, you go to rob, whatever the cause may be, and it end up not turning out right. Just seeing two different stories of two different situations of something like this happening where worldly thoughts influence worldly people and not having any faith, not having any trust. These people, we all need money, right? It's something that we live off, just like food and water. But we always have our daily bread. For those of you who live in a grateful mindset, you always have what you need no matter what: money, clothes, transportation, somewhere to stay, something to eat, right? But the thing again about mental health awareness and aligning your thoughts, your mindset with this world. These guys were broke. They decided to go take something from someone else, and unfortunately, he didn't have anything from them to take, so they left off with his life. And those type of situations where people not thinking for themselves, they're running with the crowd. They end up in those situations where you're a part of a problem and you're a part of a crime, and now you're going to be spending the rest of your reality in a place that's unhappily for you. Not too many people in prison or in jail are really happy in there. I've been there and I have happy days, but overall it's miserable. And that's what happens when you don't challenge your thoughts, when you don't challenge the things that's unrighteous for you. We all have those times of day, those moments where we're tempted to go left, right? Tempted to go steal, you're tempted to lie, you're tempted to do whatever it is that your darker side has you doing. Everybody sins differently, but everybody has the potential to do so. This is what I mean by picking up my cross daily and walking with Christ, because Jesus is calling for us each day and every day just to spend a little time so that He can help change your mind so that you won't be led astray into these traps of the world. I just pray that, if you really care for somebody and you're trying to get yourself together, that you turn your light on and let your light not be dimmed by this world and the way that the world thinks and the ideologies that they have for you to believe in. This is the power of a free thinker, of thinking for yourself, and challenging those thoughts. And with that being said, I just encourage you all to think about what you're thinking about. If it's something negative, replace it with something positive, unless that's what you desire, because we all have our own free will. It's your prerogative to do as you please. And if you decide to have a negative life, that's your choice. But if not, then I encourage you to use the skills and tools that you have available at hand and disposable to use your use your mind to think. Those thoughts come to bring you down, weigh you down. Switch it to something that'll bring you up and lift you up. Whenever I feel inadequate for a situation, as far as me not knowing things, I just simply remind myself this is a new experience, it's a new challenge that I'm embarking on, and I'm going to be patient enough to be able to make mistakes so that I can learn. And that's just that. I don't go any further in the situation inadequate, thinking that I can't achieve or obtain anything because of that failure. Turn that failure into opportunity to be successful. And that's the power of mindset, the power of thinking for yourself, right? And also with mindset, it goes with mentoring. This mindset didn't just come out of the blue. It has just been something that I picked up off the book. It's from people who think like I want to think and who are in positions that I desire to be in. Not to copy them totally, but to use what they have equipped me with to better myself, to be better for myself and for others. If you would like to know more about mindset, if you would like to be a part of a like-minded community, I offer this free blueprint here for you guys to join my exclusive community where we make money online. Money isn't everything, but it's a tool that we use and we use it quite well. We do it automatically. We set up systems that work for us so that we don't spend time working on systems. Me personally, I spend time making money. I mean, I apologize. I don't spend time making money. I spend time making my money work for me. As far as my investments, I don't spend time, doing a lot of different things to make any money. What I do spend time doing is putting my money in different positions so that it can work and grow. Just like with these cryptos and other things that I have going on and the passive income. What I'm working on now is building a residual income, meaning a certain amount, a certain time, each month, every time. That's residual income. Something like a landlord, you're going to pay a certain amount at a certain day. Or just like a subscription, right? That's residual income. You know how much is coming and when it's coming. Passive income, on the other hand, is this is you have a source of income that comes, but you don't know how much comes or when it comes. It just comes passively, passing by, just like the wind blow. You'll catch a drift, or you might not. That's passive income. I have multiple streams of passive income, and I'm working on residual income currently, which is my cryptocurrency that I created, my Tay tokens, and also dabbling into real estate. Once I get the right mentor, and who's going to lead me the right way. And I do say this to say that, like, just because you have a mentor, you have to really, really question these people as well. Like, I have someone helping me on my credit, pay like $1,500, and am I getting the help I need? No, but guess what? I learned enough from that situation not to be in a situation again. And with anybody and everybody, I do ask for help. I do put myself in a position to be on the right bus with people that's heading in the same direction that I want to be in. And sometimes you have to hop off that bus and hop on something else, with your supporters, with the people that's for you. I don't go out trying to make people like me. I don't go out looking for people to support me. I just do what I do. And for those of you who enjoy what I do, I appreciate you and I do this for you. This is what I'm passionate about, putting out information, valuable information to help someone change the way that they're thinking so that they can change the way that they're living their life and they can change the experiences that come into their lives, that they can be empowered by the mindset to be able to conquer any challenges that come. And also within this free blueprint, I also create tips and tools to manage stress and anxiety, actionable steps for 7 days a week. That's free and available for you all if you want to check that out. I have over 300, well, no, it's 300 plus some blogs. So it's a lengthy catalog for you guys to check out. And in those blogs, I have everything to deal with mental health awareness and passive income online. So those are the only two topics that I speak about, that I'm passionate about, and that I write about within my blogs. My newsletters is a mix of both. Some weeks I do mental health, some weeks I do straight passive income. And I put everything in there for you guys to be self-serve. You don't really have to ask me anything, but if you do desire to, you can just simply reply to my emails or unsubscribe because I do send them out weekly. I don't bombard your emails with irrelevant things, stuff that's not going to help you evolve into a better person. And yeah, that's what I do. I spend my time evolving, learning, and elevating, and being in the know, enlightened with things that are going on. Not that I care about everything that's going on in the world, but certain things you should be aware of, you know, so that you can protect yourself. We can't save our lives because our lives are not ours to save. We're going to live, we're going to die, and that's for sure. That's a fact. It's going to happen regardless. But in the meantime, the way that you live your life is important for you to leave a legacy behind. Not only that, the way that you live this life and leave this life would be the same way that you enter into that spiritual life, and that you will be, navigating through it as well. A lot of people living in fear because they dibble and dabble in the spiritual world with any kind of spiritual beings, not having any spiritual insight on how this thing works and how to balance them both. For those of you who are a child of Christ, we don't live in fear. Whether I die happy, I'm gonna die truth, and I'm gonna die speaking my truth. I'm not gonna die living a lie. And that's just that. No matter what, I don't be fearful about speaking my truth. I don't be fearful about finances. I don't be fearful about health or anything like that. Right? I have moments where it's been scary, nevertheless, with the spiritual world, because I am a child of God, and therefore I'm an enemy of the devil and an enemy of the world. And the world does have different spiritual beings here that does like God's children, so they do come to fuck with me. I've used to have sleep paralysis, where the devil comes and he'll stand over you, basically trying to pull your soul out. And I've seen other different things in the spiritual realm and the physical that I can't explain what it is or what they own, but the energy is real. Um, Only thing that I can say is you feel it, you'll know. I don't wish these experiences on anybody. I didn't ask for them myself. It's just me being closer to God. Also, the devil getting closer to me. He don't want you to have a relationship with God. That's why he always bombards your mind with these different demonic thoughts, these different demonic images, these different temptations. Temptations to men, right? I have different lower vibrational things that I deal with, as far as my shadow work. And that's what I don't run from myself. I'm not perfect, nor will I ever be, but I don't run from my flaws. I acknowledge them and I try to find ways to better myself. And that's just who I am. I'm accountable with myself. And I don't like fucking with people who not. You can make excuses or you can make stuff happen. That's what you're gonna do in life. Either one of the two, but not either or. One is gonna be done. What I like to do is I like to make progress and I like to have solutions, making solutions. Anything other than that, I don't associate with, I don't affiliate with, I don't have time for. So yeah, that was a mouthful. But I really appreciate you all of my new subscribers. Team Angie LC, we're working over here and we're not gonna stop. We're just getting started. We got so much in store for you guys this year. Right now, I'm a solo member looking to hire people and, build Team Angie the way that it should be built. Constantly working on new projects. I am an artist, the person who did it. A lot of you guys like my art, you're checking it out. Right? So I do be having to shuffle my time so that I can create. I do like to be in a mental space to create. Just like when God was creating the world, he didn't have a whole bunch of motherfuckers in his face. He didn't have people keep calling his phone. He didn't have people interrupting him. He just did what he did for those 6 days. And on the seventh day, he rested. So, with that being said, I do take time to rest. And when I'm not able to create, I'm not creating. I like to be in a certain space when I create just how God was, because I co create with God. I get these thoughts from God. Just like when I spend time in his presence reading his word, he'll give me certain downloads like, hey, I think you can do this. Go and try it. And I go try it and I be so successful. I be so surprised because it is not anything that I thought that I can do. Like with my NFTs and with my cryptocurrency. Who knew? When you follow Christ, you be surprised on where he leads you and how he'll maintain your situation where you don't be out here worried about money, not worried about ISIS, not worried about these racist police or the racist government. I don't worry about anything, nothing, because I'm more than a conqueror through Christ, and I've been seeing myself conquer every situation that comes my way. And I just here to share my testimony with you all to let you all know that you're more than a conqueror through Christ if you desire to be empowered, and you have everything that you need within you, just like Moses had everything that he needed to accomplish his goals. You just have to take action. The marathon continues. For those of you waiting on something to happen, it's not going to happen. For those of you who are ready to take action, you ready to start your journey. You ready for your life to really be fulfilled. All of us have a mission in life, whether we fulfill that mission or not. So many people die unhappy, unfulfilled because they're not giving themselves a true chance to be who they are meant to be. In my opinion, that's why ghosts are around. That's why our different entities, different cryptoids and stuff like that remain here on Earth. Just like the Nephilims, when the fallen angel came down, they had sex with the women and they made giants, and God destroyed the earth because there was an abomination. Their spirits was locked down here on this earth. Those were our demons. They're fallen angel kids who are the giants who died in this world and stuck in this world and who's looking for a body to inhabit. When people run around off the alcohol, off the different drugs, and they don't remember what they're being used by these fallen angels to do what they need them to do. And that's for eternity, right? And that's what I mean by being conscious, being aware, being in present moment. Sometimes we entertain angels not even knowing because depending on how you carry yourself, you can be used by a demonic spirit or an angel. And sometimes you're just yourself, you know. But these are things to think about when you see somebody cutting up and acting out. We don't fight against flesh and blood, but principalities and spiritual warfare, and it's very, very real. A lot of you guys are losing your life way, way sooner than you should because you have no spiritual protection, you have no spiritual guidance, and also therefore you lack because you don't want to learn anything about the spiritual world. You don't want to learn anything about your Creator, but you like to be like the Bible say this, the Bible say that, but you need to know who God is for you. The Bible says a lot. I don't read the Bible, but I know who God is, you know, and I can't help you believe anything. I could just tell you what I know. And if you never figure out anything, never spend time getting to know anything, you'll never know as well. You'll always be a believer, somebody whose belief will be easily made a fact or a fictitious belief, something that you want to be real because you never seek truth. But anyway, I know I done said a lot. I ain't gonna hold you guys all night because I'm about to watch my little TV shows. I like watching FBI on Tubi. Pretty dope, really, really good TV show. And then I watch Chicago Fire, Chicago PD, NCIS. I basically watch cop and crime shows. So yeah, that's all I really like. True crime stuff like that. And then I do like to watch like documentaries about aliens or space, or I like to watch museums like mysteries at the museums. They show different artifacts and different stories about those things in the museum. Yeah, stuff like that I like to watch. I don't watch. I like to watch spooky stuff from time to time, but I don't watch too much of that demonic stuff. You know, I like those type of doors to be open in my life when I'm dealing with new creatures and new spirits that's negative, right? And you got to be mindful of that too, where you're entertaining, where you're allowed to your spirit. You watch a lot of bullshit, you're gonna have a lot of bullshit of reality. You know what I'm saying? Like you engage with that shit, you entertain that type of shit. You're inviting into your life. Like you watch a lot of violence, you watch a lot of that type of stuff. It corrupts your spirit, like that guy. You gotta protect your peace, protect your spirit. You can't sleep at night, and you wonder why. What that song say? Maybe God is trying to tell you something. And yeah, I was reading. I wasn't reading, but quoting lyrics. You can't sleep at night, and you wonder why. Maybe God is trying to tell you something. And that's probably the reason why you're here on this channel tonight, because maybe I had the information for you. Maybe something with the spark that sparking you. I don't know, but I appreciate you for being here. May you have a peaceful night. You know, before you go to sleep, pray to God that you denounce all agreements, all what they call it, all covenants. You know, you have to break that. If you ever have sex in a dream, you just agree to some type of spiritual agreement, right? You ever eat anything in a dream, you just agree to a spiritual agreement. You ever receive or say yes to anything in a dream, you're saying yes to these spirits and these demons that's coming to make a covenant with you. So you got to be mindful of that as well. If you know, if you didn't know, now you should know that whenever these things happen in a dream, you're making an agreement with the demon who's trying to get you to basically say, yes, you can use my body to do as you please. And it's very important that you guard your mind like that, even as you sleep, because that's the most time where you're vulnerable spiritually. So yeah, it's just some game, if you want to protect your mind from these battles that happen while you're sleeping and while you're awake. You want to be mindful of those things. Just because you're sleeping and agreeing and doing this and that, you need to be mindful because you're inviting things into your physical walk in your life. And I don't judge people. People do what they do. I just don't deal with a lot of people all of the time, like witches. I don't judge them for that. I learn a lot from them. Maybe they learn from me. But this is one thing I'm sharing with you that I learned from them. I don't have a problem with gay people, the rainbow community people. I don't agree with what they do, but I learn from them as well. I learn. I don't know what I learned from them, to be honest, but I can learn from them, so I don't discard anybody or anything that I don't agree with. The lifestyle, the choices. I'm not better than anybody. I'm just thinking differently how I see the world and how the world could be a better place for me to be in it, and how I can make it better for myself and for others. They say be the change that you want to be in the world, and that's very true. That's why I put this video out as well. For those of you who are tired of seeing stuff like this, let's come together and be the change that we want to see in the world by sticking up for injustice and making sure that we go about this in the right way. It's not what you do, but how you do it. The how we do it, I don't know. But if we can have this conversation, we can all figure it out. We share this video so they can reach more people, that we can get this conversation going and figure out what we're going to do about the injustice in the world, about what's currently going on with people dying on TV, people dying on social media. All of this nonsense, right? It's very sad to see stuff like this, no matter who it is, what color it is, what color they are. It's just unruly to see someone being murdered on camera. And for people, we got really bad weather going on. It's raining and the wind blowing hard. Usually, when people pass away, this is what happens. When the Lord is sad about what's going on, it becomes a storm, a rainstorm. She passed away yesterday or today. I don't know. But what I do know is today is raining, and on the third it was raining. Those are 2 days where things were happening in the world. Maybe here in America, maybe not. But when you tuned in with the signs and symbols of the world, you know what's going on, and you know what's going to happen next, right? And it's allegedly for entertainment purposes. When the Lord cries like this, when it rains like this and stuff like that, for things that's going on like this, usually an area where a lot of wickedness is going on is going to have a natural catastrophe. And I don't wish this on anyone, but usually this is what happens. God is slow to anger, but that doesn't mean he doesn't get angry. And that doesn't mean that he'll continuously allow bullshit, right? The only reason why so much stuff going on nowadays is because he's calling us. The way that he's calling us is through the internet, through social media, through websites. And why I say that is to say this: all of these channels, all of these profiles, all of these videos, you could find at least one video teaching you how to get right with Christ. And the more you skip over these type of information, the more you saying, Lord, I'm going to do as I please. And, I got me. You're not the head of my life. And the more that people make these conscious decisions not to be accountable for the way that they live, for the things that they think about, even if the world was to flood in the next 30 days, you should be all right with that, right? Because our mission is complete. We're not here for good. We're not here to stay for eternity. We're here to do what we're supposed to do and move on. And with that being said, a lot of people are living in fear because they know they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing. And when God gets tired of using this internet to help people be saved by the masses, because there's no excuse, and that's why social media is so big nowadays, because there's no excuse on why people choose to be ignorant. Ignorant is a bliss. It's so fun to be stupid and dumb and doing the dumb stuff that people do. This is why they don't see anything wrong with it. That's why they stay engaged with the activities, right? But Once God calls us home, He's not going to be so happy, right? He's going to be judging. And He's going to tell you, get from by me, for I never knew you, because you didn't know me. You didn't never speak on my behalf. You wasn't saving souls, but yet still you were a part of the problem, which what that means. And like I was saying, for those of you like 50 Cent, he's a part of the problem with the Diddy thing. You wasn't in the gym, you know what I'm saying? You want to shoot me in the gym. You wasn't there. And if you was, why you didn't stop it? That means you're a part of the problem. Now he's the new Diddy, the new Jay-Z or whatever, right? I don't know. I don't really care for these entertainers because they're all fugazi to me. Like for the longest it was Snoop Dogg was the head or the black face of rap or whatever. It was Diddy for the longest. Now well, I guess it's gonna be 50 Cent until Diddy get out. I don't know. But what I see what is going on is none of these guys are telling you to follow Christ. None of these guys are speaking up for the injustice going on in America. None of these guys are teaching you how to be leveling up yourself in life, how to become on the same playing field, right? They want you to continuously be wrapped up in their nonsense to worship them, and you stay where you are. We put icons on a pedal. That's who we look up to. You know what I'm saying? That's what an icon is about. Your eyes are up there looking. And therefore, that becomes your God. Whenever you place these people in a high position, whenever you spend more time worried about what they're doing and entertaining their nonsense, then bettering your life and gaining spiritual knowledge, right? A lot of people lack spiritual wisdom because they don't read, they don't learn, they don't want to know anything. They want to hear what the internet got to say and they're going to run with that. This is what believers do. You know, they don't know how to go figure out the truth. They don't know how to find truth. They don't know how to do any research. And what's crazy about it is none of us know how we learn until we start to learn. You got to know what style of learning is for you. Some people are visual learners. Some people are hands-on. Some people are audio learners. You know, it's plenty of ways to learn, to obtain information. But you got to practice it. You got to continuously do so for you to know how to, right? Just like with digital marketing, I didn't know anything about digital marketing. I didn't ever know what it was until I got to doing it, and now I know what it is, and I know how to do it, and I do it pretty well. I could be better always, right? But I'm still learning to perfect my craft. Oh yeah, my battery's going dead. I've been said I was gonna stop talking. I like to talk though, you know. I don't just be talking about any or everything. I like to talk about stuff that's gonna help me learn and grow. Like I don't do a lot of frivolous things, right? To do yeah, it closed. So yeah, that sucks. I've been trying to just basically keep this going until that could upload and I can play this new video, but I'm gonna just end it short right here. Peace and blessings from King Yankee.